Welcome to this guide on taking charge of your inner world. Today, we are diving deep into the forces that dictate your life, your thoughts, your relationships, and your peace of mind. These are your emotions. If you do not learn to steer them, they will crash your ship. But if you master them, you become unstoppable. You have felt it before. The argument that ruined your morning, the insult that played on repeat in your mind, or the sudden disappointment that made you act in ways you later regretted. We have all been there. Emotions are powerful, but having them does not make you weak. What makes you weak is letting them drive the bus. This is not about becoming a robot. It is about becoming emotionally intelligent and disciplined. Over the next few minutes, we will walk through 10 practical, real-life lessons to help you reclaim your power. And if you are studying English, this journey is even better for you. Every sentence you hear and every concept you grasp is training your brain to think more clearly and naturally. So stick around until the very end, and if you want more content that levels up your life and your language, make sure to join our community right now. Lesson 1. Understand the root of emotion. If you want to stop your emotions from controlling you, this is exactly where you must start. Do not try to fight your feelings. Instead, try to understand them. Most people spend their lives playing defense. They tell themselves, I shouldn't be angry, I shouldn't feel this way, or I need to hide this sadness. But here is the truth. The more you push a feeling away, the harder it pushes back. Your emotions are not your enemies. They are your messengers. They are signals. Anger is often a mask for pain or a sense of injustice. Jealousy is usually a red flag for insecurity. Fear is a sign of vulnerability. Sadness often hides a loss or an unmet expectation. When you feel a strong emotion, stop. Do not react blindly. Take a breath and ask yourself, what is this trying to tell me? Most of the time, the explosion you feel in the moment is not about what is happening right now. It is about something deeper, something older, something you have been carrying for years. Imagine a man named David who snaps at his coworker for missing a deadline. He is acting like the file is the problem, but he is not actually angry about the work. He is angry because he feels disrespected, just like he felt when he was ignored by his family as a child. Every small mistake now feels like proof that he does not matter. The emotion is not about now, it is about the past. You do not just feel emotions, you carry them. If you do not address the root, they will explode at the worst time against the wrong people. Here is your step-by-step plan to handle this. First, label it. Say it out loud. I feel angry. I feel anxious. I feel ignored. Naming the feeling creates a gap between you and the emotion, which weakens its grip. Second, ask where it comes from. Is it from this moment, or is it a ghost from your past? Third, observe it like a scientist. Do not judge yourself for having the feeling, just note it. Interesting, I get defensive when I feel unimportant. Fourth, express it safely. Write it down, talk it out, or move your body. Do not bottle it up, and do not throw it at others. If you fail to understand the root, you will break healthy relationships and hurt yourself. But once you understand it, you stop being a victim and start being the master of your responses. This is the foundation of your freedom. Lesson 2. Don't react, observe. You are not weak because someone pushed your buttons. You are only weak when you let that trigger drive your car. Think about it. Someone cuts you off in traffic, a colleague makes a snide comment, or life throws a curveball you did not see coming. What is your go-to move? If you snap back instantly, yelling, complaining, or spiraling into a bad mood, You are handing over your power. But if you can hit the pause button and simply observe, you gain something much more valuable: clarity, strength, and total control. Why do we react so fast? It is just human nature. We are hardwired to protect ourselves. When we feel threatened, our brain sends a signal to fight, run, or freeze. This is the emotional brain, or the amygdala, taking the wheel. It is fast, loud, and intense. But here is the catch. The emotional brain is not wise. It does not care about your long-term success, your reputation, or your peace of mind. It only cares about survival. If someone says one rude thing, your emotional brain screams, "Yell back, make them regret it." But if you follow that voice, you lose. You might win the argument, but you lose your dignity and your focus. The solution is to train your observing mind. This is the calm, wise part of you that sees the chaos but chooses how to navigate it. The observing mind says, "This is just a feeling. I do not need to act on it right now. Let me wait. What is the smartest move for my long-term peace?" The truth is, the longer you wait to respond, the more powerful you become. Let me tell you a story about a young guy named Leo who worked at a busy downtown cafe. One morning, a customer started berating him because his coffee took an extra minute. Leo felt his blood boil. His hands were shaking, and every instinct told him to snap back. But instead of exploding, he took 3 slow, deep breaths. He stayed completely silent and just observed the situation. Later that day, his manager pulled him aside and said, "I saw how you handled that situation. You showed real maturity." A few weeks later, Leo was promoted. Why? Because the ability to stay cool when things get heated is rare. It proves you are not a puppet for your emotions. You are the one pulling the strings. Here is how you can train your observing mind starting today. First, breathe before you speak. When emotions flare up, force yourself to take 3 deep breaths. This forces your thinking brain to switch back on. Second, remind yourself that this is temporary. Tell your mind, "I will not react. I will respond with wisdom." Third, buy yourself some time. Say, "Give me a minute to think about that," or "I will get back to you shortly." You do not owe anyone an immediate answer unless it is a life or death emergency. Fourth, keep a journal of your triggers. Write down what happened, what you felt, and what you learned. Remember, anyone can shout, anyone can argue, but observing? That is a superpower. The most powerful person in the room is never the loudest. It is the one who chooses to respond instead of reacting. When you observe, you become impossible to manipulate. You protect your mental energy, you stay locked onto your goals, and you build a sense of peace that nothing can shake. That is the definition of strength. Lesson 3. Cognitive restructuring. Reframe your thoughts. This is easily one of the most powerful tools in modern psychology. It is called cognitive restructuring, and honestly, it can be a total game changer for your life. Let me break it down in plain English. Your emotions are not actually built by the things that happen to you. They are built by the way you interpret those things. It is not the event itself that makes you feel bad. It is the story you tell yourself about that event. That quiet internal voice in your head is the real architect of your feelings. Think about this. You are at a coffee shop and you see a friend across the room. You wave, but they do not wave back. You immediately feel a sting of hurt. You start thinking, "They are ignoring me. Maybe they do not like me anymore." Suddenly you are feeling jealous, angry, and rejected. But what if you changed that story? What if you thought, they look really busy, or maybe they just didn't see me. I will catch up with them later. Just like that, your entire emotional state shifts from pain to calm. Same situation, two completely different stories, two completely different reactions. That is the magic of cognitive restructuring. Most people go through life believing every single thought that pops into their head. But here is a secret. Not all your thoughts are true. Some are distorted, some are exaggerated, and many are just leftovers from your childhood or based on plain old fear. Your job is to act like a detective. You need to catch those thoughts, question them, and then restructure them into something more helpful. Here is a simple 3-step method to do this. First, catch the thought. Whenever you feel a negative emotion, hit the pause button and ask yourself, what exactly am I telling myself right now? Second, challenge the thought. Ask, is this 100% true? Is this actually helpful? What is another way I could look at this? Third, choose a better thought. Replace the negative narrative with something balanced and realistic. Take a common situation. You mess up a small task at work. The old thought is, I am so stupid, I always ruin everything. That leads to shame and anxiety. But the new, restructured thought could be, everyone makes mistakes. This is just a chance for me to learn and do better next time. That shift leads to motivation and calm. Do you see the power in that? One thought drags you down, and another lifts you up. Your emotions will always follow your thoughts. So stop letting your mind run on autopilot. Whenever you feel a strong emotion, write down what happened, write down your first thought, and then force yourself to come up with 2 alternative ways to view the situation. Choose the one that brings you peace. This is the skill that separates the emotionally mature from the rest. You do not need a perfect life to feel good. You just need a mind that knows how to reframe the chaos. Once you master this, you stop being a slave to your feelings and start being the architect of your own experience. Lesson 4. Train your thoughts daily. You do not rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your mental habits. If you really want to control your emotions, you have to understand this fundamental truth. Your feelings are always downstream from your thoughts. If you tell yourself you are a failure, you will feel hopeless. If you believe you are unloved, you will feel broken. If you think the world is against you, you will walk around feeling defensive and angry. But if you begin to rewrite the script in your head, your emotional state will shift right along with it. Emotions do not just appear out of thin air. They are born from what you feed your mind. You might not be able to control every single thing that happens to you, but you can absolutely train your mind every single day. Think of your mind like a wild, energetic horse. If you do not put in the work to train it, it will eventually throw you off. You have to guide your thoughts with daily repetition, ironclad discipline, and constant awareness. You do not do this once or twice. You do it every single day, just like brushing your teeth or hitting the gym. You need a daily routine that rewires how you respond to the world. Here is a 5-step practice that has helped countless people take back the reins of their emotional life. First, start your morning with mental repetition. Wake up and say it out loud. I am in control of how I respond today. My inner peace is more valuable than winning an argument. Even if you don't feel like you believe it yet, say it anyway. Repetition builds new neural pathways. You are literally building emotional muscle memory. Second, perform a midday check-in. Set a reminder on your phone for 1 p.m. Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? What thought is causing this feeling? Is this thought helping me or hurting me? Most people sleepwalk through their day without ever questioning their mental state. Awareness is the first step to control. Third, catch and reframe negative thoughts on the fly. As soon as a thought like, "I can't handle this," pops up, talk back to it. Respond with, "That is not true. I have handled hard things before, and I will figure this out." Make it a habit to challenge your mind. If you do not, your mind will become your master. Fourth, perform an evening mental download. Before you sleep, write down 3 things. What emotion did I feel most today? What thought triggered it? And how could I think differently next time? Writing is a mirror for your mind. It makes your invisible struggles visible. Fifth, protect your mental environment. You become what you consume. Stop letting garbage into your head. Limit time with toxic people. Cut down on doom scrolling and stop starting your day with social media drama. Just like your body is what you eat, your mind is what you feed it. Consider the story of a woman named Sarah who used to be triggered by everything from a messy desk to a minor critique at work. She decided to train her mind like an athlete. She started waking up early to set her intentions, questioning her negative self-talk, and protecting her focus. Within a month, the change was night and day. She was no longer exploding, she was responding. Her health, her relationships, and her confidence all bloomed. What changed? Not her circumstances, but her mind. You cannot live a positive life with a negative mindset. Train your thoughts daily, and you will find that the storms in your life start to get a whole lot quieter. Lesson 5. Physical movement changes emotion. Feeling stuck? Move your body. Feeling overwhelmed, lost, or trapped in a loop of overthinking? Move your body. Here is something most people completely ignore. Your emotions do not just live in your head, they live in your body. Have you ever noticed that when you are anxious, your chest feels tight? Or when you are sad, your shoulders slump forward? When you are furious, your fists clench and your heart starts racing. Emotion is literally energy in motion. If you try to fix a physical feeling with only your thoughts, you are fighting a losing battle. Sometimes, the only way to heal what is going on inside is to change what is going on outside. Your body acts like a vault for your stress. If you spend your whole day sitting, staring at a screen, or isolating yourself, those emotions get trapped. They have nowhere to go, so they fester. But the moment you start moving, the energy shifts. You release, you refresh, and you reset. Consider a student named Ben who was drowning in exam anxiety. He tried meditation, he tried reading self-help books, and he tried to force positive thoughts, but nothing worked. Then he started a simple routine, a 30-minute walk every single morning with no phone and no music. Just movement. Within a week, his anxiety dropped, his focus came back, and his mind cleared up. Why? Because when your body moves, your brain heals. Here are a few powerful ways to use movement to reset your emotional state. First, try silent walking. No podcasts, no music, no noise. Just walk and let your thoughts drift. This gives your mind the breathing room it needs to sort through emotional clutter. Second, try stretching. We carry so much tension in our necks, shoulders, and backs. When you stretch, you are literally unclogging the pipes and releasing that stored-up stress. Third, try cold showers. The shock to your system forces your body to snap out of a panic state and into the present moment. You cannot stay in a cycle of worry when you are focused on controlling your breath under cold water. Fourth, burn it off with fast movement. If you are angry or frustrated, do jumping jacks, push-ups, or run. Use that adrenaline for something productive. Finally, try flow movement or dancing. No rules, no rhythm required. Just move your body to the beat or in silence. It might feel a bit silly, but it is one of the fastest ways to force your body to release feel-good hormones like endorphins. When you move, you shift your nervous system from a fight or flight state into a calm, controlled one. Your breathing slows down, your focus sharpens, and your heartbeat steadies. You were never meant to just sit and suffer. You were built to move through what you feel. Emotion is not a solid wall, it is a wave. Let it pass through your body. The next time you feel like you are about to explode or break down, do not just sit there thinking. Get up, walk, stretch, breathe, and reset. That is how you use physical action to master your emotional intelligence. Lesson 6. Exposure therapy. Face the emotion you run from. There is a reason why some people stay stuck in the same emotional loops for years, even when they are talented or smart. It is because they have mastered the art of running away. Whenever life gets uncomfortable, they duck out. When anxiety hits, they avoid the situation. When a memory brings up pain, they shut down or distract themselves with endless scrolling. They act like they are fine, but inside they are shrinking. This is a trap. If you keep dodging your triggers, your world will only get smaller. Psychologists use a technique called exposure therapy to turn this around. The core idea is simple. You do not conquer fear by running from it. You conquer fear by gently leaning into it. The more you face the things that make you nervous, the less power they have over you. Think of a person who is terrified of public speaking. If they skip every meeting and hide from every presentation, their fear grows into a monster. But if they use exposure, they start small. They practice in front of a mirror for 30 seconds. Then they record a short voice note. Next, they speak up in a small, safe group. Step by step, their brain learns that this situation is not a threat. The panic fades and confidence takes its place. Your brain is a learning machine. If you constantly avoid what triggers you, your brain treats that trigger like a dangerous predator. It thinks, I need to stay away from this forever to stay safe. But when you face it, even in tiny, controlled doses, you are rewiring your brain to say, I can handle this. This is how you break the cycle at the root. Maybe you are the type who feels a wave of panic when someone doesn't reply to your text, or you feel worthless the moment you make a tiny mistake. Most people try to over-explain, blame themselves, or just act like everything is perfect. Exposure therapy means you stop hiding. Write down the specific feeling that scares you. Break it into tiny, manageable steps. If you panic when someone criticizes you, start by reading comments on a post and choosing not to reply. Ask a friend for honest feedback on a small project. Post something online and let people react. Tell yourself daily, not everyone has to like me, and I am still worthy. Over time, criticism stops feeling like a personal attack and starts feeling like just another piece of information. That is true power. Avoiding your emotions is like trying to run away from your own shadow. You might feel safe for a second, but it follows you everywhere. Stop hiding. Face the fear, face the discomfort, and face the feeling. You will find that freedom is waiting for you right on the other side. This is how you build real, lasting emotional strength. Lesson 7. Master the pause, master your life. There is one simple skill that will give you the upper hand in every single part of your life. It is the ability to hit the pause button when your emotions start trying to take the wheel. That tiny split-second gap between a trigger and your reaction, that is your kingdom. That is where true power is born. It is the difference between saving a relationship and burning a bridge. or between making a smart decision and making a mistake you will regret tomorrow. We live in a world that is obsessed with speed. You get a text, you want to reply instantly. Someone says something rude, you want to snap back. You feel a surge of anger, and you want to shout, walk out, or throw something. Your emotional brain is always pushing you to act right now. But when you pause, you shut down that emotional autopilot and wake up your higher, logical brain. The neuroscience here is fascinating. When you are triggered, your amygdala takes over. But if you can just hold off for 6 seconds, your prefrontal cortex, the thinking, rational part of your brain, kicks back into gear. This shift allows you to look at the big picture, protect your peace, and choose a path that serves your future instead of your temporary mood. Think about it. You get a harsh email from your manager criticizing your project. Your heart starts racing, and your fingers are itching to type a nasty, defensive reply. But instead, you close your laptop, walk away, and take a moment to breathe. An hour later, you come back and write a calm, professional response. Thanks for the feedback. Let me explain what happened and how I plan to fix it. Because you paused, you kept your reputation, you kept your job, and you kept your dignity. The same goes for your personal life. When you are in an argument with your partner and you feel misunderstood, you might be tempted to say something cruel just to win. But if you pause, look down, and take 3 deep breaths, you can say, "Let's talk when we are both a bit calmer. I do not want to say something I will regret." That is not weakness. That is absolute strength. So, how do you train the pause? Use a power phrase. When you feel that heat rising, tell yourself, "Wait, I control what happens next." You can also count backward from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That simple act forces your brain to switch from feeling to thinking. Create a ritual before you respond to anything important. Train yourself to wait at least 10 seconds before you hit send, speak up, or make a move. Journal about your triggers at the end of the day. What set me off today? Did I pause or did I react? How could I handle it better next time? In business, a pause before a negotiation can win you a better deal. In your relationships, a pause before reacting can save the love you have built. In leadership, a pause before judging can earn you massive respect. You do not always get to choose what life throws at you, but you always get to choose how you respond. That choice, that single moment of stillness, will define the quality of your entire life. Master the pause, and you master everything. Lesson 8. Replace reaction with purpose. One of the ultimate signs of emotional mastery is the ability to trade your knee-jerk reactions for intentional action. Most people are reactive by default. Someone disrespects them, they fire back with rage. Someone ignores them, they spiral into overthinking. Life throws a speed bump their way, and they immediately default to complaining or giving up. But here is the hard question you need to ask yourself. Is your automatic reaction actually helping you, or is it digging you into a deeper hole? Every reaction has a consequence, and more often than not, those are consequences we regret the morning after. When you act out of raw, unfiltered emotion, you end up saying things you do not mean, making choices that sabotage your goals, and pushing away the people who actually have your back. Let's look at a common scenario. Imagine a guy in a heated argument with his partner. He feels disrespected, so his instinct is to snap. "You never listen to me. You always treat me like I don't matter." What happens next? The other person shuts down, the room turns icy, and trust takes a hit. But imagine if he had taken a second to ask, "What is my actual goal here?" What do I want the outcome of this conversation to be? If his purpose is to build a stronger relationship, his response changes entirely. He might say instead, I am feeling really overwhelmed right now, and I don't want to say something that hurts you. Can we talk about this once I've cooled down? That one shift from reaction to purpose saves the relationship and keeps the peace. Feelings are undeniably real, but purpose is infinitely more powerful. Every time you feel that emotional charge bubbling up, force yourself to stop and ask, what outcome do I want? Is what I am about to do helping me get there? What would the best, wisest version of me do in this exact moment? When you shift your focus to your purpose, you stop being a prisoner of the moment and start being the designer of your own future. You stop building connections based on your wounds and start building them based on wisdom. To make this a habit, try these practices. Whenever you feel emotionally charged, use that question as your anchor. What is the wise response here? If I let this emotion drive, what might I burn down? Visualize the aftermath. Before you say that stinging comment or send that angry text, picture the result 10 minutes later. Will you be proud of this choice tomorrow morning? Make this your daily mantra. I respond with purpose, not impulse. Say it before you walk into a meeting, before you pick up the phone, or before you start a tough conversation. Make it part of who you are. Think about the student who fails an exam and feels the shame rising. Instead of reacting by quitting, he pauses and remembers his purpose is to succeed. He studies harder, and a month later, he hits his target. Think about the entrepreneur who loses a big contract. Instead of blaming her team, she pauses, remembers her purpose is to lead, and communicates with clarity and grace. Her team stays loyal. Every emotional moment is a test. Reaction is failure. Purpose is mastery. You always have the power to choose. You can look at your feelings and say, I don't feel like being calm, but I am choosing it anyway because that is who I am. That is how peace is built. That is how greatness is built. From now on, stop asking what you feel like doing and start asking what is the right thing to do. That is how you change your life. Lesson 9. Emotional regulation. Build a system to stay calm. This is not just a quick fix or a clever trick. This is a lifestyle. Emotional regulation is about having a solid system in place so that your feelings don't take the wheel when things get heated. Most people only try to manage their emotions after the explosion has already happened. But true regulation is proactive. It's about setting up habits, routines, and awareness so that your emotional state stays balanced before the problem even shows up. Think of it like building a strong immune system rather than waiting until you're already sick to start looking for medicine. To be clear, emotional outbursts don't just appear out of thin air. They are usually the result of long-term stress, unhealed wounds, and a lack of a framework. If you don't have a plan, your emotions will dictate your actions. And let's be honest, one single uncontrolled moment can destroy months or even years of hard-earned progress. The wise don't just ask, how do I stop getting angry? They ask, what systems do I need in place so that I don't get triggered so easily in the first place? Start by mapping your triggers. Who pushes your buttons? What kind of situations make you feel like you're losing your grip? What time of day do you feel your weakest? Write it all down. Identifying your triggers is the first step toward neutralizing them. Awareness is the bedrock of self-mastery. Next, you have to regulate your nervous system. You simply cannot stay cool if your body is always in a state of high tension. Incorporate these into your daily life. Try box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. Take cold showers to snap your system out of a rut. Go for grounding walks, 20 minutes in nature without listening to anything. These practices keep your nervous system balanced, and a balanced system is the engine of emotional stability. Create an emotional processing ritual. Make it a daily habit. In the morning, jot down 3 emotions you're carrying. In the afternoon, ask yourself which one requires your attention. At night, reflect on how you handled your feelings during the day. This isn't weakness. This is exactly what elite athletes, top-tier CEOs, and high-performing professionals do. They treat their minds like muscles that need daily training. Finally, have an emergency calm plan. When you feel a trigger, don't try to figure it all out in the heat of the moment. Have a pre-decided move. Maybe it's walking away for 15 minutes, splashing cold water on your face, or putting on a specific playlist that always centers you. When you feel out of control, your system will carry you through. Emotional regulation isn't about pretending to be calm. It's about building a life that supports stability. You become the kind of person who doesn't get rattled easily, who bounces back faster, and who makes everyone around you feel safe just by your presence. That is real power. You don't need natural talent for this. You need a system. Start building yours today and watch your emotional life transform. Lesson 10. Silence is your superpower. You do not need to raise your voice to show that you have power. In fact, the most influential person in any room is often the one who knows exactly when to stay silent. We live in a world that worships noise, drama, and instant reactions. Because of this, many people mistake silence for weakness. But in reality, silence is your ultimate shield. It is control. It is strength. When your emotions are screaming at you to lash out and you choose to stay still, that is not suppression. That is absolute mastery. Silence acts as a circuit breaker for chaos. When someone tries to pick a fight, they are looking for a reaction. When life throws pressure at you, it is looking for panic. When your emotions rise, they are demanding a performance of drama. But when you stay silent, you break the chain. You stop feeding the fire. You stop being a puppet for the moment. That isn't being passive. That is being wise. Silence also protects your dignity. Words can be dangerous weapons, and once you let them fly, you can never take them back. One moment of emotional venting can ruin a long-standing friendship, kill a business deal, or break someone's spirit. Silence gives you the space to think, to breathe, and to decide if a response is even worth your energy. People often think strength means being the loudest person in the room, proving your point, or dominating the conversation. But real strength is being so secure in who you are that you do not feel the need to explain, defend, or prove anything to anyone. You let your actions speak. You let your peace speak. And when you finally do speak, your words carry weight because they are rare, intentional, and controlled. Think of a CEO known for his calm presence. In meetings where voices were raised, he stayed completely still. When negotiations got heated, he leaned back and listened. When people tried to provoke him, he just smiled, paused, and refused to jump into the fray. When asked why he didn't react, he simply said, "If I spent my life reacting to every mosquito bite, I'd be too busy scratching to ever build anything." That is vision. That is emotional intelligence. Here is how you make this practical. In arguments, do not fight to win. Let the other person exhaust their fire. Your silence will make them reflect much faster than any counterattack. In moments of conflict, take a hard break. Walk away. Silence protects your inner peace when words fail you. When someone tries to manipulate or trigger you, don't play the game. Silence shows them that they have zero power over you. And when you are stuck in overthinking, remember that not every thought deserves your attention. Sit in silence. Observe the thoughts like clouds passing by and let them fade. Some fear silence because they think it means they are empty or ignorant. But here is the truth. Silence is not the absence of a response. It is the preparation of a better one. It gives you the clarity to choose, not just react. You are not avoiding the moment. You are mastering it from within. From silent mornings that set your tone, to the 10-second rule where you count before you reply, to taking walks without any music or podcasts just to declutter your mind. Practice stillness. When you are silent, you protect your energy. You stop feeding what doesn't deserve to grow, and you stop living like a slave to your impulses. Let the world talk. Let the chaos scream, and let others scramble for attention. You stay still. You stay wise. You stay silent. Because, in the end, your silence speaks the loudest. Now, listen to me closely. The world does not need more people who lose their cool the second things get difficult. It does not need more people who crumble under pressure or run away from every bit of discomfort. The world needs you, emotionally strong, clear-headed, focused, and in total command of your inner state. Because remember, your emotions are not your enemies. They are not something to fear or suppress. They are raw energy. And if you learn how to channel that energy, you become absolutely unstoppable. Nobody is born with perfect emotional control. It is a muscle, a skill, a discipline that you build day by day, breath by breath, and moment by moment. There will still be storms, there will still be triggers, and there will definitely be days when your feelings try to hijack your life. But when those moments come, you will remember these lessons. You will pause, you will observe, you will choose your purpose, you will protect your energy, and you will rise, because you are no longer a slave to your feelings. You are the master of your inner world. And once you master yourself, nothing outside of you can ever truly defeat you. So do not just watch this video, nod your head, and walk away. Live it. Apply it. Train it. This is your life, your mind, and your power. Take it back. From this moment forward, let every surge of emotion remind you, I am not my feelings. I am the force that decides what to do with them. That is who you are now, and that is who you have always been. Now go out there and build the life that your emotions once tried to destroy. Do it with discipline, do it with awareness, and do it with absolute emotional power.